Yes, thank you very much indeed, Tommy, and welcome along everyone to Thomond Park in Limerick for the first of no fewer than 14 Monday night fixtures in the Guinness Pro14. The tournament organisers have put the new measures in place to try and cut out the club versus country clash of fixtures. At this time of year, of course, there's two extra Six Nation fixtures ongoing, and there's a prolonged autumnal fixture list, so they've had a little look at to see what Monday Night Rugby can bring, and we're certainly looking forward to it. Anything that lengthens the weekend and banishes the Monday blues can only be a good thing. We are slap bang in the middle of a test window, of course, which has a big impact on the two selections tonight from the two coaches, and the Cardiff Blues coming here bereft of their international stars. So too indeed are Munster. 9 changes for Munster in total from the side that beat Edinburgh here in round 2, including 6 in the pack. Billy Holland returning to captain the side behind an all-new front row. John Hodnett starts on the open side flank. Gavin Coombs is at number 8 in the absence of CJ Stander. 3 changes in the back line. Darren Sweetenham, Dan Goggin and Calvin Nash in for Matt Gallagher, Alex McHenry and Andrew Conway. Ben Healy scored 20 points with 7 out of 8 from the kicking tee. Last time out, his half-back partner Craig Casey was man of the match. 7 changes for Cardiff from that really impressive win over Connacht in round 2. Dimitri Arhip is in a tight head prop, and it's Ben Murray and Rory Thornton in the second row. Late change to the Blues backline, by the way. Their captain and scrum half Lloyd Williams has been drafted into the Welsh squad for the Scotland match in the Six Nations next weekend, so Lewis Jones will start the game, and Jamie Hall has been added to the bench. Well, they were so impressive against Connacht last time out. Bonus point win and taking 9 points from a possible 10 from their opening 2 games. A really good start to the season for Cardiff, and they come here in expectation more than hope. It's not been a happy hunty ground for them down the years, but they will come here full of confidence, albeit, as John Mulvihill was saying in the weekend before the game, to play a Munster side that he knows are very, very difficult to beat in this test window. They do have a very, very big squad, and it's a squad, as we see Ben Healy and Fineen Wycherley getting ready, that has been expanded in the early weeks of the season. Healy and Casey have been so good.
Yes, Brian, perfect.
Andrea Piardi, the Italian referee, is helped out by his assistants Frank Murphy and Owen Cross tonight. Brian McNeese is the TMO. So Monday Night Rugby in the Guinness Pro14 is underway as the Cardiff Blues get us underway. Down into that Munster 22 and to the left boot of Rory Scannell, who is in the Munster midfield tonight alongside Dan Goggin. Damien Diolandi, by the way, the Springbok World Cup winner, is back on the Munster bench tonight.
Take on, release.
Flat to the line, as always, is Jared Evans, and he gets that pass away to Ben Murphy. Cardiff can't make anything of it, really. Very interesting to see how John Hodnett, hugely impressive Ross Carberry man on that open side flank, goes for Munster tonight. Jack O'Donoghue is on the blind side, and as I said, Gavin Coombs, another of the West Cork Mafia, as the Munster fans like to call them, in at number 8. High and a little bit skewed off the right boot of Mike Healy. Munster offside, and inside the opening 60 seconds, first penalty of the evening, gives me the opportunity to bring in Liam Toland.
Yeah, you covered a lot there, Conor, but especially the bench. What an impressive bench Munster have tonight. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the 9 and 10 for Munster. They finished brilliantly the last time we were out, one getting Guinness Player of the Match and the other arguably should have got Guinness Player of the Match. That aside, looking forward to see, against the attacking force that Cardiff have tonight, can the Munster 9 and 10 control field position, and can they control the scoreboard like they have done in the last few weeks?
So we've 2 firsts tonight. We've a first for Monday Night Rugby, and we've a first for Liam Toland saying he got the man of the match wrong last week. They were both very good in your defence, Craig Casey and Ben Healy.
You'll find, Conor, when the stenographer prints out that that's not what I said.
Here's the replacement scrum half, if you like. Lewis Jones getting Cardiff moving, and it's taken them only 2 minutes to get moving, and moving into first gear with the first try of the evening. Scything forward play, finished off absolutely brilliantly
it's fine for me.
on the outside. It all came from quick, smart play from the line. A good delivery from Lewis Jones. We know all about that midfield combination. The switch play to Jared Evans and the finish from Ray Lilo. Brilliant stuff from the Blues.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, you can see the first up tackle for Munster, and in the first instance wasn't a knockback. He kind of soaked up the carry and gained an extra 2 or 3 metres, which allowed then the Cardiff players to flood through. But look at, with a player like Lilo coming through the gap there, it's impossible to stop him. The first up tackle has got to stop the ball carrier.
Okay.
Well, what a start that is.
Thank you.
Really, really good combination play.
Yeah, you can see Jared Evans, he got through on a weak shoulder. Scannell just carried on through, got an extra 4 or 5 metres. It's crucial when you see the flood of blue jerseys coming in behind to support the ball carrier.
Four tries in that bonus point victory over Connacht, and they are off out of the traps at a rate of knots here this evening. They've been the best of the Welsh regions in terms of their attacking play over the opening couple of games, and very, very strong and solid defensively too.
Okay, rock roll.
Yeah, the former scrum half, Richie Rees, who's their attack coach at Cardiff, will be especially pleased with that.
Darren Sweetenham. Andrea Piardi's come off a little worse for wear in the middle of all that, but both sides getting the ball to the edges inside the opening 3 or 4 minutes here. Been a fairly lively start. Little pop pass back inside that time from Kevin O'Brien to the rampaging Finnan Wycherley. Good tempo about the game. Delivery that time from Gavin Coombs into Stephen Archer, a tight head prop tonight. Casey, hands on ball at the 10-metre line, right over the top from Healy. The defensive line from Cardiff was up very high. Sweetenham, he's looked very sharp. Ambitious offload, almost into the hands of Christian Dacey, who's the stand-in captain tonight, by the way, for the Cardiff Blues in the absence of Lloyd Williams, called up to the Wales squad. We'll miss his experience on a night like tonight. Wycherley out the back, and here go Munster now. A little bit of a gap for Healy, just didn't have the support that he required to get that offload away, and Hudnett has his hands on it. Scragged by Rory Thornton. Thornton and Murphy, the second row combination for Cardiff tonight. No Corey Hill or Seb Davis, two players will be sorely missed as well. Rhys Carey, Dylan Lewis and Josh Navidi also on international duty.
It's no advantage. 3 by blue. Penalty only. Thanks, Brian. A strip by blue. Penalty only here.
No, that's well spotted, yep.
Number 12 trip.
There should be, what is it in GA, a black card for that? Maybe not quite yellow, certainly.
Cynical? Okay. Okay, stop.
Well, if you're looking at an instant kind of start of what Munster are trying to achieve, you can see tight head props Archer taking the ball miles out, taking the ball off his number 8 Combs. So Munster have started with the intention of using the full width of the pitch. Traditionally, you'd have a tight head running hard into a fringe defence. It's great to see Archer taking the ball off Coombs and taking it out and running into backs. But it wasn't. They were on several occasions getting out into the trap.
It's very clear. Watch it here, and he clearly puts out his leg.
So no problem for me. It's a yellow card against 12.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
And it is going to be a further sanction.
Number 12, please. Number 12.
And that's just going to take the momentum out of the Cardiff Blues start here. 10 minutes in the sin bin.
The player is a yellow card. Okay.
Isn't that process which some people get frustrated with? Isn't it brilliant that players can't get away? Players' behaviours are totally adjusted because of that. They just can't get away with it, and it's a very silly penalty and a very silly yellow card as well. Well spotted by the referees.
The question is, will it be, as it so often is when a team is down to 14, will it be expensive? Will it be costly? Kevin O'Byrne scored a try in the game in Llanelli against the Scarlets in round 1. His delivery is good, easily finding Wycherley, and now they're all piling in. Two midfielders, Goggin and Scannell in there to add their kgs.
No hands blue.
Ball is down on the 5-metre line or just inside it. Taken on by Billy Holland, supported by Archer.
No, it's blue.
O'Byrne waits. O'Donoghue on his shoulder. Casey barking out the orders, but they leave it to O'Byrne. And can the 15 of Munster hit back straight away against the 14 of Cardiff here, having gone behind to that try so early on? Wycherley, he might just get there on the reach. Line didn't come quickly enough for the big second row, but they go again around the fringes. We saw CJ Stander with what ultimately was a match-winning try against Edinburgh a couple of weeks ago from this kind of situation. No Stander there tonight, but it doesn't matter because Munster get over, and it's his replacement for the night, Gavin Coombs, that gets the try.
You can hardly claim the yellow card has afforded them this opportunity. Apart from the penalty, it's been all forward, hasn't it been? There's been a couple of opportunities for Munster to spread it wide, but the forward said no. And just like your commentary saying that CJ Stander scored, I think the tradition is and the culture is we're going to take it around the edge and get a great score for Munster, and a great way to claw back the scoreboard.
A perfect response for the Skibbereen man, and Munster well and truly back into the game. Gavin Coombs with his third Munster try on his first start of the season.
We're doing the kicks, right? Kicker. So obviously correct if he scores a conversion or penalty the whole day long.
No problems whatsoever for 21-year-old Ben Healy. He was so good from the kicking tee 2 weeks ago against Edinburgh. 7 out of 8 in total.
And there is a subtle wind in favour of Cardiff as well, so it's great that Munster did get that opportunity of penalty, and they went for the corner and they maximised it. Great clawback of 7 points.
Just a second start in that number 8 shirt in Munster colours for Gavin Coombs. Similar exit strategy from Munster, using that left boot of Rory Scannell.
Where are you at?
Well, he won't have been too pleased with the concession of the very, very early try, which could have been defended better, but the response from Munster has been excellent.
No, only one. Only one.
DCO, that was a little bit loose. It's gone forward off a Cardiff hand. Ben Healy has it. Scannell now immediately looks to put width on it. Went in behind Calvin Nash, recovered by Healy, and now Nash looking to make amends. Good tackle from Ollie Robinson. Prolific tackler, he gets through a huge amount of work in that Cardiff back row. Munster need to be careful at the breakdown, as Johan van Graan was saying pre-game. They're so good over the ball. Cardiff that just looked to be fractionally forward. Really good tempo about the game in the opening 10 minutes.
But we're seeing an awful lot of new things from Munster. We're seeing little tip-ons. I think Coombs involved. He's bringing his front rowers in. He's giving them a chance to get on a weak Cardiff shoulder. But look at Scannell at 12 coming down the tram tracks. He's offering a second pivot for Munster as well. So there's a lot of new things we're seeing here tonight. Just an unfortunately offload was forward, wasn't it?
So space and stability.
Right in line with us up here.
Attacking wise now, Cardiff obviously down a midfielder, so they've put their fullback Morgan into the outside centre position. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, because the numbers are in Munster's favour, and it's a good attacking place. But they're very vulnerable for those turnovers. That if they do concede a turnover, that if Munster do put in the mood they are putting into width, that Cardiff are vulnerable out in that second centre slot.
In the scrum. And then on by.
He's had a tough time with injury of late. Willis Halaholu injured his cruciate, I think just a week after being included in the Wales squad for the first time for a match against the Barbarians last November.
Well, that kind of leg flick won't help his cruciate in any shape or form.
Former Super Rugby winner, of course, in his time with the Hurricanes back in 2016 before he arrived in Wales.
They were both on that Hurricane side, weren't they? Both centres?
Yep. Speaking of injuries, Christian Dacey, who, as I said, is the captain tonight, he's had a terrible last 12 months or so with injuries. Good to see him back to full fitness.
Boy. Set.
And so when it goes from Lewis Jones, no Lloyd Williams, if you're just joining us, called up to the Wales squad. And here is Jones under pressure. That's Hodnett driving over the top of the ball. Should be Munster ball here. Oh, it's all very loose. Good scrap for it. Cardiff win it on their own 10-metre line. Only just. Dacey, huge cries from the Munster players around that ruck situation. Dacey pinged for not releasing. Munster get the penalty.
Yeah, I think they've a huge faith in their scrum, don't they, the Cardiff front five. And in an opportunity with the wind behind them to kick just long, consider down a player. I'm not so sure tactically why Cardiff are playing this type of game. Trying to play their way out of the 22s and carry their way out of the 22s.
It's a big misjudgment really from Ben Healy. There is a stiffening breeze, shall we call it, which is blowing kind of across the pitch. Maybe just affected that kick, but tried to get every last inch out of it.
But it looked like Corey Damachowski, a tight head for Cardiff, was really keen to try and force a penalty if that's their tactic. But when they got the free kick, they elected to go back to the scrum again. So it'll be interesting just to see how they're managing their field position. I'm not so sure why they're playing their rugby in their half with the wind behind them.
Okay.
Well, I suppose if you wanted to be hypercritical of Jared Evans, it's his kicking from hand that requires the most work. He's so eclectic with ball in hand, and he takes the ball to the gain line. He's very, very inventive and creative.
Crouch. Bye. Set. Steady.
Yeah, Domachowski and Dimitri Orr hit the two props, and Dacey in the middle. No Reece Carey, no Dylan Lewis. Two big players in that front row. Just speaking of kicking from hand from Jared Evans, and he's overcooked that one ever so slightly.
Like, I remember when the yellow card sin bin concept came into play many years ago, teams simply didn't know what to do tactically, how to manage it in many ways. But this is a poor management from Cardiff. They're really not burning the clock, and they're playing all the rugby in their own half, and they're making mistakes as well.
Okay.
Maybe just need to recalibrate their thinking ever so slightly. And as John Mulvihill said during the week, yes, it's two very, very good wins against Connacht and Zebre, and with the greatest respect, we would have expected to win both of those. I'm not sure they would have expected to beat Cardiff so impressively. They scored 3 tries in the space of 10 or 11 minutes in the second half. Haley just dinks one through into that 22.
But it's not a coincidence. Previously, Scannell popped up in that exact slot, and now Haley. So Munster have come with an attitude to have two players playing off their scrum half. This time it's the full-back. Look what they're trying to do. They're trying to attack the outside where Cardiff are vulnerable.
And just a minute left on that sin minutes passed pretty quickly. Someone's lost the scrum cap. I think it's Ollie Robinson, but Cardiff have it, and they're continuing to try and create a position to kick their way out of this potential problem. Jones takes his time. And into touch just shy of that 10-metre line.
And what's forcing Jones into a difficult kick is Munster, because of that extra man, have 3 in the backfield covering any field position from a kicking game. So it's a difficult one for Cardiff.
Yeah.
First start of the season tonight for Kevin O'Byrne, a player who was so good last season, 20 appearances.
His ball went out to get in the end, but maybe come that side to get the angle right from the start.
Both of them.
former Bristol man Ollie Robinson, son of Andy, former England and Scotland manager.
Well, in that case, James Botham, whose father played for Cardiff and whose grandfather is Lord Botham.
I know. I had to check that old Beefy is old enough to have a grandson, and I didn't feel good about it. Cardiff have pinched that one. Don't know where they go with the aforementioned James Botham, and he's accelerating at real pace. Needed somebody on his shoulder. Really good break by the open side flanker.
Hands on the ground, don't support your body.
Penalty straight in front of the post, and that's all the making of James Botham, the academy graduate. Really strong ball carrier.
I know his opposite man, Hodnett, gave away a penalty there, and it was a timely penalty because it was all advantage Cardiff from this brilliant break by Botham. Firstly, a steal at the line-out, and oftentimes his defence has been able to convert transition from defence into attack. But watch Hodnett coming in now. Gets into a brilliant position. Referee then deems it legal and a penalty, but it was a good penalty to give away in many ways.
Low and straight and true, and through the uprights, and Jared Evans in the 17th minute kicks Cardiff Blues back into the lead at Thomond Park. We're back to the full complement of 15 aside, 10 points to 7. Healy then with the Munster restart. Good physicality there on Ray Lilo from Kevin O'Byrne. Cardiff have managed to secure possession, and now they come with Corey Domachowski.
He's outside.
Enjoying a good run on the side in the early part of this season, starting for the third match in succession. No Rhys Gill either, by the way, in that front row. He's injured at the moment.
Mightn't have been the wisest time for Jack O'Donoghue to start his right foot kicking. But it seems to be all ball and play, Conor, so far, so there's no harm to have a little break.
Yes, it's been very lively. Two teams full of confidence, having started tonight unbeaten, 2 wins from 2. Healy goes the aerial route. He's got plenty of height on that and plenty of hang time, and it's come back on the Munster side from Sweetenham. First involvement for Casey, the live wire, gets it away to Billy Holland. A few years between those two players. Good to see Billy Holland back and wearing the captain's armband. First involvement of the season for him. Healy now at close quarters.
Take off, release.
Sweetenham again in off his wing, looking to get involved. There is Holland again. Both of them with a tackle.
He didn't lose the position.
Goggin.
Well
Ball
done.
is there for
Very
Casey.
Well take off, release 4.
Coombs and Ben Murphy did release just in time. Healy running into Lewis Jones.
Wrong side.
Penalty coming here against Rory Thornton.
Take off.
The ball's ripped away by Dacey. Back we go for the penalty.
We come back. Number 5. Rolling into the wrong side. Rolling into the 9.
Like, it's the pressure of the execution of the various options Munster imposing on Cardiff is creating these penalty opportunities in many ways. Like, that's the third different back player to carry down the tram tracks. This time it was Healy.
Let's go down to
The previous time it was Scannell and the fullback Haley. So it is a tactic that they're employing, and they are asking more questions. In particular, their loose forwards are popping up a little further wider than traditional, which is putting, and with that quick ruck ball, is putting a lot of pressure on the Cardiff fringe defence and the slightly wider defenders.
No mistake this time from Ben Healy, as he just hammers that one down into Cardiff Blues territory. Can they take advantage again? Opposite side of the pitch.
9, in or out? Okay.
And they go to the front to the try scorer, Gavin Coombs.
That's one.
Now Casey. Scannell as the battering ram straight and true up the guts of the Cardiff defence, and now they go again, taken on by O'Donoghue. Clear out by Wycherley, and then Casey. Oh, Coombs again. Potential for an offload, of course. Quarters to Goggin. Healy. Ben Healy just short. Really good variation and worker in around these attacking sets from Munster. Now Hodnett, can he pile drive his way over from 3 or 4 metres out? They got a good latch on behind him. Now can they get the ball back? And if they can't, why not? What's the referee going to give here?
Is in the goal area. He's held up with scrum.
Okay, so scrum back.
So definitely a lot of patterns, but what about Jack O'Donoghue carrying? He exploded off the mark. Absolutely explode off the mark, but Coombs, isn't he brilliant? So the variety again is putting all sorts of pressure on the Cardiff defence. They're becoming very, very passive in their defending and allowing the ball carrier, if he's taking it flat, particularly Craig Casey, he's looking and hunting and firing the ball as flat as he can for the Munster player to run onto the ball, which is giving great opportunity either side of the breakdown.
Credit where it's due to Jared Evans, who made a really good tackle on Ben Healy after Healy gave Lewis Jones the slip. It looked like he might get all the way there. Healy on his own. I think it's Ollie Robinson in the wars again, is it? 18 tackles he made against Connacht. He's used to being in that situation. Patch him up and get on with it, most likely. He played number 8 as well against Connacht. You're normally used to seeing him on the open side flank, but they've got an abundance of riches in that department.
So front rows, please. Come here. So I'm very happy about the pre-engage and when I call set. Stability is good. After set, something happened.
Third season now for John Mulvihill, taking over after 3 years from Danny Wilson. Cardiff finished 6th in Conference B last season, winning only 7 of their 15 games, losing 8. Not great really by their standards. Much better start to this campaign.
Crouch! Boy! Both of you pre-engage.
It's a massive blindside to defend, full 15 metres, and Ben Healy is loitering just in the neutral zone behind the scrum, so he's putting indecision into the Cardiff defenders. Is he going to go down the left-hand side into that massive blindside? And he's just flirting with it over and back a little bit, just putting a bit of question mark in the Cardiff, but it's a horrible distance to try and defend, that 15 metres. You think of, when James Lowe was on the left wing, you go, my God, how am I going to tackle this guy? So it's a really tough one for him.
Set!
Well, Munster have the free kick.
My call reaction.
I imagine they'll go for another reset. Certainly I want to see what happens here in that 50-metre blindside.
We've got Sweetenham over there, of course. It's Allard Summerhill and not Josh Adams in defence in that situation, as Adams is so physical.
Just speak to one raid about binding early on this side, okay?
Okay. My call, your action. When I say bind, not earlier. Okay?
Come on!
Please.
Matthew Morgan there as well. It's
Crouch.
He's the last defender, which is a little unusual to see the full-back there as the last man, but
yeah.
Steady!
They want to imagine Amos to be involved somewhere in the big hits.
9. Use it!
2 front rows are down. Coombs breaks away from the base and into both of them. Hands on it from Ollie Robinson, trying to take them away from the match referee Andrea Piardi. Great position this for Munster. Loads of Cardiff Blues bodies in the way of John Hodnett. Taken on by Kevin O'Byrne again. Munster in around 5 metres. Do Cardiff have a player with hands on over the ball? No, it's there for Casey and it's there for Coombs. Tackle again from both of them. Here's the other number 7 on the pitch. John Hodnett. Rory Thornton offside, penalty advantage. Will they try something here? Ball's taking an age to come back. What does Casey fancy here? They go deeper. Healy out the back to Goggin, nothing doing. We're going back for another penalty.
Well, in the first instance, the Cardiff out half, Evans made a great stop tackle there, didn't he? Great, backed himself.
He's made a few.
I just felt that Munster have got, when they had a scrum with a 50-metre blindside with a lot of space available to them, they ignored that and they've gone the hard route.
Here they go again. The referee is trying to get a vantage point to see here, and for the second time in the space of 4 or 5 minutes on this attacking phase, Munster held up.
Held up. Scrum red.
It was memories of Ronan Agar against South Africa in the old Lansdowne Road, wasn't it? There was a wall of jerseys there. It was going to be a tough one to get across. Like the amount of energy it takes for both those sets of players to do that, like particularly from a Cardiff point of view, just to hold up, it's exhausting. Now look at the setup from the Munster back line. 4 in a row.
And off they go in twos.
It's like some military tattoo, the way they set up and then break away.
Well, they're going to get a penalty here. Down go the front rows. Blues infringing.
Scrum.
Well, they have been camped on in Cardiff 22 for a long time now. Let's not forget that Cardiff are winning the game 10-7. Munster will feel they've got to get 5 or 7 points from this extended period of pressure.
I suppose the Munster fullback is the key here. He's still loitering in neutral. Does he go left? Does he go right?
In behind the fly-off, he's just inching over to the right-hand side. There's the clue. Here's Goggin. Very close, but not quite. Casey. A foot or so short. Can they force their way over? Still short, says the referee. And they go again. 2, then 3 players in the wedge together. Is this to be a second try for Munster? Won't be dissimilar to the first. Shrill blast of the referee's whistle will tell you yes.
He didn't move. He didn't move.
Well, let's see. I think it might be the same player.
He didn't move. I was focused on that.
The referee was well placed, and it's a second try of the night for Munster, and a second try of the night for Gavin Coombs.
He seems to be involved in all things, isn't he? Right pivot tonight. I thought Cardiff had done brilliantly there to stop Casey. He ran out of options. I think the first time in maybe 20 odd minutes that Casey had no options, but then it came to the big boys carrying over, and just like CJ Stander, Coombs has picked up where Stander has left go.
And full credit to the referee for getting himself into a position to award that.
Look, Goggin, that was off the scrum, wasn't it? Where they set up the 4 behind, and then he was the main pivot carry. He took a big hit, didn't he? A couple of blue jerseys smashing in on him.
And the simple task of adding the extras from Ben Healy. It's been good stuff this from Munster. 27 minutes in, there's been a lot of creativity. Okay, they've forced
the closer to the whitewash, they're getting narrower and narrower, so maybe that's something. But beyond that, outside the 22, they've been very creative, using the full width and using the blindside a lot with 3 different pivot players at each time. So an awful lot of interesting things from Munster tonight. Cardiff, you'd argue, have been the master of their own destiny, allowing themselves to stay in their own half.
And this time the return from Rory Scannell drifts in field.
It's only a penalty, but it's still high. It's clear his lap.
My first view is that the Munster captain has to come down an awful long way to meet him at the proper height. And Morgan obviously slipped as he was entering the hit as well.
That's the end of the evening prematurely for Dan Goggin, who's had a catalogue of injuries over the last little while or so. That's disappointing for him, but it affords the neutral the opportunity to see the Springbok World Cup winner Damien Diolande again. But that's disappointing from a Munster point of view, and let's hope it's not too serious for Dan Goggin. First start since February, having had a few injuries over the last 12 months and more than that. Looks pretty good from up here, and the flags go up from the referee's assistants, and it's 3 back for the Blues. Back to a 1-point game, and a really good game as we approach the half-hour mark.
I don't have access to the statistics of time in the opposition's half, but Cardiff seem to have almost 0 time in the opposition half, and have yet managed to score 13 points against Munster's 14, so they're not working anyway as hard as Munster are to get their scores.
Well, certainly in terms of attacking sequences in that so-called red zone, I can't really think of one after Ray Lilo's try.
Use it!
And that came off a line-out, which is a penalty, which came from inside their own half, so they barely spent any time either then.
Yeah. Healy with time. Managed to slip away from Summerhill too and present it for his scrum half, Craig Casey. Billy Holland, shoulder to the wheel, and that wheel is Ollie Robinson. Oh, that was
about as flat as you possibly could have hoped.
Healy.
You wanted the world to pivot on its axis to allow that to be backwards.
Ben Healy has shown an appetite to take the ball to the line on occasion tonight.
No, that's good.
Will burn into contact. This time Healy over the top. Lovely delivery to Coombs. Scannell now. Does he back his pace? Good cover. Hollow was equal to it. Munster player then in off his feet. First thing he's
just
done
around the shape
right.
of how Munster are attacking. It's no coincidence what Healy's trying to do. Look at his number 8 is out there. He's not out there by accident. They're actually hunting for space wider out. It's the first time I've seen it in a while. It's been consistently happening for the first half. This occasion gives Scannell an opportunity to get a fend on and try and get into space. But one of the big takeaways from this half is how they're getting their loose forwards wider, and their point of attack is different. It's not around the fringe. It's asking different questions of the opposition.
Boys, open a little bit, please. Thank you.
Yes, the signs are promising, encouraging. 1 point advantage this time. Evans hammers it down towards that Munster 22, where it's fielded by Calvin Nash. Return to sender. Evans lower this time. Healy has a look, checks his options.
No, that's right. Thank you.
Jones gets it into the Moldovan tight head Dimitri Arhip. Evans sweeten him underneath it.
But that was a nothing kick, wasn't it? Again, Munster 3 in the backfield, and he aims at Sweetenham, was certainly not going to drop it or mistake.
Good take from Morgan. Yes, and he surveyed the options, certainly, Evans, before he made the decision to kick. Carried that time by Thornton. Munster over the ball. The James Cronin in there.
Pretty on the ball. He tried to lift the ball.
Like a nice transition, wasn't it? From feeling the ball, getting out, and they created the space and the opportunity. Just so he got lost in his own yardage, and great steal from Cronin on the deck. But initially, the kicking game from the Cardiff out half, it's questionable, isn't it?
It's definitely And the part of his game that many people would say is keeping him out of Welsh recognition. He has been capped 6 times down the years. '18 Cardiff Blues Player of the Year. You think back to that Challenge Cup run that they had, and ultimately success in Bilbao, and Jared Evans was absolutely sensational.
It's a short line out here, Connor, with a couple of big hitters. Coombs on midfield, hot at midfield.
And they go off Wycherley. Diolande just left it behind him.
Advantage. Set. Just advantage. Ball was clearly out. Yeah, scrum.
I think that was his first touch, was it?
Yeah. Well, they don't relish coming here. History tells us that, having lost their last 8 visits to Thomond Park, but they've given a pretty decent account of themselves in the opening 34 minutes, having had relatively little territory or possession. Feels like a little bit of an onslaught from Munster, but the scoreboard tells a different story, and that's all important.
That was good defence from Diolande and Sweetenham there.
Trapped on the wrong side. Referee didn't see a penalty.
Stay. No. No.
Arhip and Thornton coming in to provide some cover for Lewis Jones, the 27-year-old. And he throws one skyward towards Healy. Nash is there on his inside shoulder, and here is Calvin Nash. Took a good line. Important tackle to cut him down. Healy. Scannell now. Oh, good break from Scannell. Good support from O'Donoghue. The pass just didn't come, and now it's been turned over really well by Ollie Robinson. No loose pass, putting Evans under pressure here. Ray Lilo looking to tidy things up, but they look a little bit harem-scarum back there, Cardiff. 4 minutes to half time. A point behind, 14-13, 2 tries to 1. Here they come with their captain, Christian Dacey. One of the 4 try scores against Connacht, another player making his first start of the season. 6 of them in the Cardiff lineup. And they're defending inside their 22 in the dying embers of the first half.
Right, this is lovely play from Munster again, wasn't it? Scannell got out into the far reaches of the tram tracks and still carried, and no one seemed to land a hit. And again, he just ran out of support runners just for a moment of time. But a brilliant steal from Cardiff, who managed to kind of convert a real advantage into a disadvantage. But still super attacking play from Munster, getting out wider.
Ollie Robinson was easily beaten on the outside, but he made amends, didn't he?
I think if his loose head prop came in then and threw a wagga, I think is the technical term of the pass. A left-hand wagga.
I think Johan van Graan will be pretty pleased. I think Munster supporters will be very much enthused by what they've seen.
Ready to go, boys? Okay, water out.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of question marks over Larkham and his influence, but you can see an awful lot of influence here.
I told you, the supporters look very happy. All smiles. Virtually.
Okay, stop. Start from the basics. Okay. Time back on.
650, I think.
9, stay there. In or out?
Virtual supporters. Here tonight. It'll be great when they come back in reality.
Obstruction.
We look forward to that.
In the formation of the mode. Clear obstruction.
First half not quite over. We're already looking forward to the second half. It's been good stuff from both sides.
You can see what he's talking about is getting obstruction in, getting around the lifter, getting around. I think he gave it against Archer. It's a difficult one, isn't it? But it is a technically correct penalty.
Okay, that's not right. Ron.
Got the sense as well from Johan van Graan in the weekend. He mentioned it pre-game as well. With this prolonged autumn series of matches, I mean, these group of players are going to be together for the next 7 or 8 weeks. They're going to play a lot of game time together, so you don't maybe have that threat of, I'm going to lose my place, I'm going to be in and be out. And you're thinking of guys like Hodnett and Casey and Healy, and that's a huge benefit to their confidence to know they'll get a run in the jersey.
Well, there was 9 Munster players who were additional to the squad, one of whom is Tommy O'Donnell. They did a fitness session here just at the end of the warm-up. So there's likes of Tommy O'Donnell as well in the picture.
Huge height on that from Jones, really good kick. Well watched by Nash. Stopped by a combination of Thornton and Hip. Hodnett. He's looked good again tonight. Good hands. Great hands from Wycherley. Great stuff from Munster. That's a high tackle. I think it's both of them on O'Byrne that time. Healy to Healy. Back it goes to Healy. That's still live and playable. Casey. Will the half finish with a flourish?
There's no advantage.
Number 7.
Isn't it great to see players, regardless what jersey they're in, but in this case it's the Munster jerseys, Hodnett running flat out, testing the tackle, and not just happy to that, then he turns and looks for an offload to Wycherley, who himself turns and looks for an offload to O'Byrne. All players, all 3 players running hard onto the ball. It's great to see.
Yeah, I agree, okay. Penalty only because you stop here and then it goes on. Post goal.
Isn't it great to see, Conor?
It certainly is, yeah. It's been great stuff.
Yeah, boys.
The officials just confirming they're happy that it's penalty only and no further sanction against James Botham.
No, is it?
Think back to Clonethley a few weeks ago. Ben Healy kicked a penalty, referee blew the whistle for full time. Think back to last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, against Edinburgh, kicked a conversion, referee blew the full time whistle, and the same will be the case here, just to extend Munster's advantage as we head into half time. Nice thump that low and hard, it makes no difference. Radar is working pretty well from Ben Healy, and Munster functioning very, very impressively in the opening 40 minutes here. Behind to a Ray Lilo try inside the opening 2.5 minutes. And then Cardiff down to 14, and back came Munster with 2 tries from close in from Gavin Coombs in quick succession. All to play for, though, in the second half. In Limerick, it's Munster who lead by 17 points to 13. All set to go for the second half, and barring the reasonably unlikely scenario of a drawn game, one of these sides is going to lose their winning start to the Guinness Pro14 season. And as we turn around for the second 40 minutes, it's Munster in the box seat, but I say only just because it's a 4-point margin, and while they dominated large swathes of that first half, Cardiff very much still within striking distance. But to echo the words of John Mulvihill, the Blues manager, pre-game, he said, look, we know Munster finish games very, very strongly indeed. They score somewhere in the region of 75% of their points in the final quarter, and we saw that against the Scarlets in Clonethley, and we saw it again against Edinburgh 2 weeks ago. The more I look at that Ray Lilo try inside the opening 2 or 3 minutes, the more I'm reminded of a Willis Halaholo try that Cardiff scored against tonight's opponents, Munster, at the Arms Park a couple of seasons ago in a really high-scoring, brilliant game. That one went the way of Cardiff, and they turned around in arrears in this one. And they're on the defence of the Blues as Munster look to get back into their rhythm. Casey. And a cul-de-sac of very big Cardiff Blues players, Dimitri Arhip in particular. Billy Holland away to Stephen Archer. Good Munster bench, by the way, as well, which could be key, and that's one of the things we talk about in these test windows. resources and squads, and Scannell on the outside break trying to get away from Robinson, who's tackled everything in sight tonight, as he always does. Gavin Coombs, who's been the standout player in many respects, and certainly the headline grabber from the opening 40 minutes. Big tackle that time on Jack O'Donoghue. Quick ball for Casey Healy. Little show and go. Oh, inside. De Allende promising this. Munster don't have a lot of width on the left-hand side, and they concede the penalty. Good work defensively again from Cardiff. They're so strong over the ball, as Johan van Graan said.
It's what's kind of saving them, isn't it? I think De Allende was hit just before he got his hands on the ball here. Just about, maybe, but great timing from the Cardiff breakdown defence. But it's what's keeping them in. But what's very, very interesting is look at the loose head prop from James Cronin. This is his third time in this play to come onto the ball. He was the receiver on 2 previous occasions. This time he didn't carry it into heavy traffic. He kept the ball going, and there's greater width and greater ambition there. But great old play and variety from James Cronin, the loose head.
He's had a good game tonight, James Botham. He and Ollie Robinson have been excellent.
Okay. SIA, you 5.
It's keeping them in the game though, Conor, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. And going out of the game for 10 minutes at least for a head injury assessment is Rory Thornton, the Cardiff second row.
Well, I think his captain Christian Dacey took a nice hit onto the forehead. It took him a while to pick himself off that deck. He's got a bit of a cut on his forehead.
Yeah, he's still receiving some treatment, but
yeah, you can see him there getting patched up. But he took a nice hit on the forehead.
he was one of the players called up to the Lions tour. You may remember the Geography 4, I think they were called. Christian Dacey.
Okay.
Six or seven players on Welsh duty for Cardiff, and you add Lloyd Williams into that.
Yeah.
Shane Lewis-Hughes, who's been excellent of late, the back rower, called up as well.
He's a tackle machine, isn't he?
Okay, yeah. Ready to go. Perfect.
Josh Navidi in that regard as well. They're well resourced in the back row. So we resume with Jared Evans. I was going to say if he gets that right you might catch it, Liam, but he was well short. Drifted in field. Here's Healy accelerating through the mismatch with Lewis Jones. Confirmation of the introduction of Alan Lawrence for that HIA for Rory Thornton. Casey not. Holland up against both of them. De Allende shows for it. Almost inevitably it's Robinson with a tackle. A bit static that time from Casey to Healy. Healy runs into a little bit of trouble. Wycherley, good pick up from Healy, and now Calvin Nash just had to check his run. They've done well there again, Cardiff defensively.
It's an interesting question for the Munster half-back pairing when they're not quite going forward as they have been doing at times in the first half. How do they manage the game? How does Ben Healy take control of what's happening? They're losing ground, they're going backwards. The Cardiff defence is pushing them backwards around the fringe, and it just got a little bit disjointed. And this is a lovely little bump and run, isn't it? Get off the bus.
A 3 out of 3 this season for Mike Healy. No Shane Daly, of course. Matt Gallagher involved on the wing a couple of weeks ago against Edinburgh.
Stop. Was no space, both of you. Okay? Both of you. I ask you space. Let's go. Reset.
Fineen Wycherley. Josh Wycherley on the replacements bench for Munster tonight.
Okay. Wait.
Younger brother and another member of that Ireland under-20s Grand Slam team from 2019.
Set!
Lawrence at the base and Jared Evans now. Lilo swallowed up by Dale Ende. A little bit scrappy for Lewis Jones. And back inside his 22 is Jared Evans. Jinking feet. Oh, he's done really well for his team there, the fly half now. Support arrives. They're having to work hard to get out of their own 22 and make any progress up the field.
Don't touch him.
Again, the option is to run.
Well, he started off in the old zero position, didn't he? A straight back pass, looking to, so the worst possible place to launch an attack from, but still, they're in possession.
And this time they go to the box kick. Very, very tight to the line over on that far side, and too tight. Wrong side.
Like, if their breakdown play is keeping them in the game, I think their tactical kicking and strategic kicking is certainly keeping them out of the game.
Stay there.
Shortened line out for Kevin O'Byrne on this occasion.
With Coombs and Dale Ende standing beside each other.
On off. Rory Scannell into Coombs they go. Back against the green. O'Byrne from Casey's pass. Healy this time. Dale Ende. O'Byrne again. Soft hands, just funnels it away to Holland. Wycherley. A little bit of a different approach, and that wasn't in the script. Cardiff have turned it over on their own 10-metre line.
Stay there, stay there.
They need a scrum half.
Use it. Tackle!
Evans pops one over the top. Dale Ende judged that very, very well indeed. Made that look very easy. It was anything but. Sweetenham.
Release!
Casey this time to O'Donoghue, right on halfway. Munster will go again. Kevin O'Byrne, Wycherley, off to Healy. Scannell has a little bit of a look. Morgan is back there. And covering back across in the backfield is Calvin Nash. He's made up 80 metres to get all the way across there. Evans inside his own 22.
It's gone a very lateral, hasn't it, Conor, in the last, say, 5 or 6 minutes, where we, in the first half, there was a huge amount, particularly for the Munster back row, really putting a lot of punch on the flat pass. Just going a bit lateral over and back. I think Scannell did well to drill the ball down the tram tracks, and it was returned and we got into a bit of tennis. But neither side seemed to be in control at this point in time.
Which keeps it very intriguing as a spectacle. Healy's kick has a little bit too much distance on it. Well collected by Jared Evans. Munster strong appeals for the penalty. And they get the penalty.
He's your man. He's your man.
It's James Cronin again.
That's not his first steal at the breakdown today. He's had a big impact, hasn't he? But again, I'm amazed at Cardiff. I know they're playing into breeze is kind of a lateral breeze in a sense, but they're just happy to play inside their own half. And in the kicking form of Ben Healy, if you do give away penalties, you're going to be punished. Like he has a bit of a wind left to right as he's looking at the post behind him.
Okay, let's have a look. Yeah. I was focused on that. That's why I didn't see any problem. If he's become a trend and they stop the first ball. Okay, let's go 10, please.
this time he's just pushed it out to the left-hand side and it comes thundering off the upright.
22.
22 dropouts. So the perfect 3 out of 3 stays at 3 out of 4. Not as clean as strike. I just wonder, looking at Ben Healy, he just had a little coming together with Jared Evans when Evans carried the ball out of defence, and he, having made the tackle, Evans fell against his leg. He's hobbling ever so slightly. Maybe just a little bit, Healy. Here he is. He's moving okay now, and he's moving the ball very promptly out to Hodnett. And Hodnett's first thought really with ball in hand is to drive at the defence. Penalty coming here. Cardiff Blues player just snared in there. Christian Dacey is looking at the Italian referee as if to say, how do I get out of there?
Unfortunately, the referee would say to him, it's none of my business. That's entirely up to you.
Yeah, that's the collision I was talking about. He just got his ankle caught, didn't he, slightly?
Yeah, very good spot, Connor.
Having said that, he looked okay in that last attack. Just by the way, Rory Thornton is not coming back from that HIA, so Alan Norris is staying with us. No, he looks okay. So perfect platform. This time they go to O'Donoghue. And here comes the momentum. Cardiff not set well here at all. Try line beckons, and the try line is breached. Really good execution from Kevin O'Byrne, but the Maul defence from Cardiff sadly lacking there. They were never set to deal with that surge forward.
A great line-out, wasn't it, from Jack O'Donoghue, and a good setup. But I thought once the maul peeled away, I thought you could have been a truck and trailer, the old-fashioned language there could have been, because that puts it at a slight advantage for the Munster. But what a brilliant line. And there was no way a Cardiff player was going to get their hands on it.
Kevin O'Byrne, who got his try in Llanelli against the Scarlets in round 1, gets another one tonight at Thomond Park.
And for all the wide creative play that Munster employed in the first half, a number 8 scores 2 tries and a hooker scores the 3rd. So it's a forwards game really, isn't it?
It's a part of the game that was mentioned in dispatches following the win over Connacht, where they actually struggled, Cardiff, but they struggled there, but no struggles this time from the kicking tee. Back to form for Ben Healy, and just that little gap now, 24-13.
Really interesting now, Cardiff's reaction, because obviously Munster have a couple of big bruisers still to come off the bench.
Yes, Klein, Klute, we've already got Dialende with us. There's lots of experience and power on that Munster bench.
No.
Matthew Morgan.
Good contact.
Oh, that's a brilliant take. That's a really good take as well. Pop pass from Domachowski, taking a pace on the angle, and they come back this way to try and make yards again. Just inside that Munster half of the field. They need the next score here, Cardiff. Jared Evans is the catalyst for something here, potentially. Oh, good step, and there is the try. He's barely seen the ball all evening, but he was put in brilliantly by his fly half, and it's executed expertly by Alan Summerhill. And straight away, Cardiff find a reply that they so badly needed.
Well, if Jared Evans' kicking game isn't up to scratch, his running game certainly is. This is quality play from the standout out half. brilliant carrying, transferring the ball in or out, and tied up a couple of red jerseys in knots, and great running line to get his great score. Brilliant score. But what about the catch from Matthew Morgan at full back? What an unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was a decent box kick from Craig Casey, superb from probably the smallest guy in the pitch in Morgan to field it, and from then Evans at 10, brilliant ball carrying, hitting the line and giving his winger an opportunity to score a try. That's quality play.
It was the first one.
Yeah, he's so good in those situations. Jared Evans, we saw it last week against Connacht. Those couple of quick fire tries when he was heavily involved, the 2 tries for Halamimus, and that one not dissimilar. Really well taken try. Big boots to fill in. Josh Adams missing, of course, and Summerhill doing really well. It's coming around and it's sneaking inside that left upright. Beautifully judged from the kicking tee from Jared Evans, and the man who was the architect of the try is the executioner of the conversion, and it's game back on again, 24-20.
It seems only a couple of seconds ago since I was inquiring about Cardiff's reaction to that score, but look, they get a 7-pointer. Now it's back to Munster. What's their reaction?
Only 56 minutes gone, so plenty of time. That's disappointing from a Cardiff point of view, having got the 7-pointer, just to give Munster an entry point into the game in field positions such as this.
Who would be John Mulvihill? Just when his side puts themselves into contention. That's 2 big errors, isn't it, from Cardiff off kickoffs?
Unforced moment of lapse of concentration, really.
Crouch. Bye. Set.
4 points are short. 4 points are short, went down together.
So both of you, longer mind, please. Okay.
It's Owen Cross on this side, referee's assistant, talking to Andrea Piardi. Both binds are short. From this side, James Cronin and Dimitri Arhip.
Boss, I understand you want to play strong, okay, but we have to be positive. Stay positive, okay? Please, thank you. Space, stability, boys, okay? Shoulder out, shoulder out.
Rejigged that back row, of course, following the withdrawal of Rory Thornton.
Set, steady.
Ollie Robinson has gone to the flank, and Alan Lawrence packing down there at number 8.
Okay.
Gavin Coombs, who's on a hat-trick, remember.
That's a great hit from both of them.
How good has his tackling been tonight? It's been exceptional. He made 21 of them against Connacht. I'd say he's going to be close, if not past that, tonight. Stephen Archer.
No, 20. Play on.
Casey. Here is Coombs. Once again, Casey, quick ball, just funnels it out to Jack O'Donoghue.
Legs on the ground. No hands,
This is going to be a hat-trick of tries from this kind of range from one of the Munster forward pack. This time they get it away to O'Donoghue, and he's got there. The little pop pass from Gavin Coombs, the man who scored 2 tries tonight, and he spotted that O'Donoghue had the momentum, and he just said, there you go, finish that off. Munster get the bonus point try.
I think the average score of these games, the last 6 games, is 51 points. It's outrageous, the swinging of the pendulum, isn't it? But still good quality work. Again, the closer Munster get to the Cardiff whitewash, the narrower they get and the more they rely on their big ball carriers, of which they've got a number tonight. Coombs has been brilliant, but Jack O'Donoghue's general athleticism around the park is well rewarded by that score. Good latch on from his hooker as well, O'Byrne. Isn't it amazing how many tries Connor scored, like with an inch of the white line?
Yeah.
Just looking back to that opens I hit James Bolton. Jesus, massive smash on Coombs. But Coombs is such a big athlete, he still just gets up, doesn't bother him, and carries on and gets back on the ball.
And speaking of the accumulation of points between these two, Munster break the 30-point mark, 31 points to 20.
Which is your average of the last 6 games, 51 points. Outrageous.
Yeah.
4 tries to 2. Good game from Kevin O'Byrne again tonight. Reece Marshall is in. Started the 2 games against Scarlets in Edinburgh. Did Reece Marshall, but a good account of himself tonight from Kevin O'Byrne, who got himself a try. Here's Morgan. Can he spot a little gap in there? He's beaten by the home turf in Limerick. Took the legs from under him before he could get any momentum. Here's the Cardiff captain, Dacey. Evans.
Off your feet.
And this time, Cardiff get the breakdown penalty. James Cronin off his feet.
Just when you're defending the Cardiff out half Jared Evans, your assumption must be that he's going to carry and look for that gap, isn't it?
Yeah.
No matter what he's looking like he's about to do, his instinct is to hunt for that gap.
Yeah, you can't take your eyes off him.
Cronin is arguing he's in on it. He's not supporting his own body weight, and that's ultimately what the referee's giving him. But again, I couldn't hear. Was the referee? I have him in my ears, but I couldn't hear him. Normally, he tells the player.
No, I didn't hear, but it definitely Cronin off his feet. There was 1 or 2 marginal calls in the first half, I thought, as well, from the Italian official that Cardiff may have felt a little bit aggrieved about.
No one.
In that regard. Anyway, on we go. Jones looking to get this Cardiff backline moving through the heavy lifters, Arhip and now Evans. On it goes to Robinson.
We're free.
Yeah, there's another penalty there.
Andreas Kane,
Play the 9.
1 blue.
Straight in front of the referee.
Subs. Substitution.
A couple of changes coming here for Cardiff, I think. Tomaszewski off and Bradley Tyre in.
With a name like that, he comes from Church Village, which is about 11 miles away from Cardiff.
Yeah.
Up near the Vale of Glamorgan.
Well, they've been on the receiving end of a couple of
well-executed
line-out drives. Yep. A little bit of a variation, good from Alan Lawrence. Oh, really good, nice little switch, all the way for the try, brilliant. Willis Hollow, and every time they're asked the question by this Munster side so far tonight, Cardiff Blues have found a way to hit back with a big answer.
That is a quality series of traps that Cardiff laid, but ultimately their objective was get the ball into this guy's hands, and he just pinballed himself, didn't he? Bounced off red jerseys and no one could land a hit on him. But they set the trap, didn't they? They did beautiful off the top, just down to a pod who passed it to another pod, and all the while this guy was pumping his legs into free space and no one could land a hit on him. He was coming with such speed, he just bounced off everyone all the way to the line. Super score.
Really, really good try. And they've scored some lovely tries this season. A couple of absolute peaches against Connaughton. A couple more tonight. Terrific game. Really, really good game. We should have more of this Monday night rugby.
So 58 points, not a bad turnaround with still a little bit of time to play.
Did you get a new calculator for your birthday or something?
Did I get that wrong?
No.
I have an abacus here. I have my shoes and socks off, Connor. Couple of changes now, Connor.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about the The potential for a bench boost from Munster. Lots of experience in there. Rhys Marshall in now. JJ Hanrahan off the bench too. Oh, look at these midfielders, Ray Lilo and Willis Halaholo. Cardiff have come to life again. There's the latest try scorer, Halaholo, and through the hands from Ratzi, out they go, and a little bit of a miscue that time from Halamimus. We haven't seen him with any green grass in front of him with ball in hand. Cardiff over it. Oh, they thought they'd pinched a turnover penalty there.
Use it! All your men.
Confirmation of those switches in the second row and back row as well.
I know John Mulvihill will practice an awful lot, and he's coaches all week. But to practice a kick-off reception thus is hardly something they're practicing, because there's a complete and utter abject of all responsibilities. And of course the ball bobbles, and like, who on the planet do you not want to catch the ball if you're Munster defenders, that guy? But what a brilliant breakout from, they look a totally different side at this point in time than they did in the entirety of the first half.
Klein and Klute in. That's another really good take from James Ratzi. Here's trouble for Munster. Every time that goes into Halaholo or Lilo, and then Evans is a constant threat, sniping around the fringes with that lovely dexterity and balance that he has. And here comes Botham. Cardiff adding a little bit of beef to the attack, and here they come again, this time with Ben Murphy. Jones, Evans, Halaholo, and Amos. Oh, that might fall for Lilo. Instead it's Nash who breaks it up. He just manages as he was falling to the turf.
Chasing. Oh, that's quality from the blind side.
And snaring Jared Evans. Cardiff having to work hard to secure it.
Use it, line.
Well, it's a prerequisite, that kind of work rate, but you see it every time from Jack O'Donoghue.
Use it!
67th minute. 7 tries to the good, 4-point game. Lots to enjoy about this. Still anyone's game.
No, he's running, he's running.
Dimitri Arhat did really well to wriggle his way out of penalty territory there. Hanrahan now in at 10, of course. Healy, oh, there was a little bit of a gap there, that was important. Might have been away. Hanrahan, who thrives in this kind of open game, heads up, intuitive kind of rugby game. Relentless pace about it. Klein into contact. Munster's attack momentarily grinds to a halt, and then it's off again. Deolande, oh, Sweetenham gets it away. Scuttle, oh, unbelievable try. Absolutely brilliant out of Munster, and finished off by JJ Hanrahan. What a game of rugby this is tonight at Thomond Park, end to end. Breathless stuff.
Well, look at this, Rhys Marshall, that is brilliant, and the hands from JJ Hanrahan, absolutely fantastic. A hooker to an out half, and then just carrying it on. The amount of red jerseys flying up, but when you see an out half getting twice on the play, it's always something that's going to add value to the attack. But Rhys Marshall, for me, getting the hands to JJ Hanrahan, and it's just brilliant play from both sides. It's a wonderful game of rugby, and a cracking score for Munster.
Brilliant stuff. And we've said it so many times, and JJ Hanrahan in this type of game, when it's so open, and no surprise to see him heavily involved in a try of that nature. Great to see him finish it off. Pulse absolutely flying at 170 plus, adrenaline coursing through the veins, and he kicks the conversion. And you would think in any normal game that the advantage that Munster have just put up now, they could see it out for the last 10 minutes, but I absolutely bet not.
But look at the basics, the cause and effect. Jack O'Donoghue chasing down that fly kick. I think it went back to Morgan, did it? And he come down and chopped him down, and then he just stayed rootless. The energy and the pace from both sides has just been brilliant in the last 10 minutes. Fantastic to watch.
And 3 red as well.
1 and 3, subs. Number 1 and number 3, red.
2 props off for Munster.
I think James Cronin and Archer should be pretty happy, particularly James Cronin. Super performance. He got a couple of steals at the breakdown.
Wycherley and Salanoa coming in, and you just wonder, after all it's been a bit of a second half slugfest, is one of these sides going to punch the other out? A little bit of fatigue potentially going to set in, although they did have a week off, of course, last week, so the better part of 10 days before they came back in this week with a Monday night game, that is. I know Munster certainly were off last Monday and Tuesday. Oh, Evans. Munster's defensive antenna needs to tweak. Marshall goes in there. Jamie Hill in at scrum half, and Matthew Morgan. And look at the appetite from both sides just to play heads-up expansive rugby. So Garen Smith, Jamie Hill, and all the changes coming off that Cardiff Blues bench.
Perfect. Where you are? You did the same.
Sam Moore for James Botham, who had a huge game. Great effort as always from the Cardiff back rowers tonight.
Mo! Stay by, don't change.
Marshall still in control. Casey off the outside of that left boot.
Stop. Come back, come back.
Where's this one going to drop for Mike Healy? Cardiff ball secured by Ethan Lewis, slung out to this near side to Summerhill. Tackle from Dialende. On they go again, this time to Sam Moore. Evans. Evans this time to Garen Smith. Oh, ball was loose and popped back in. Did they run out of pitch on the far side?
That's great from Jack O'Donoghue again. Lovely bit of skill.
Ball and play time in this second half be very interesting as well.
We've mentioned Jack O'Donoghue a number of times. His work rate and effort is brilliant. But look at that, it's a lovely little play. Kind of a hit and hope in many ways. Could go to the wrong part of the wrong man, but still. His athleticism and work rate is relentless, and it gives him the opportunity to get and use his skills as well. We saw Peter Romani introduce some pretty clever skills at the weekend, but it's nice to see another back row player doing it too.
Yeah. Coming off 9 red.
And blue.
In that Munster number 6 jersey. I don't know, is it a bit of cramp maybe
Number
for
10,
Jared Evans, but
blue.
he's not happy.
Thanks, Andrew.
Would the correct term be mercurial?
Yeah, very
Stop.
much so.
Wait.
What he does though as a back rower, like you have to completely focus on him.
Back on.
Yeah.
What he's doing is he's sucking defenders because he has the hint all the
there.
time of looking for that break.
Jason Tovey is
Mo!
coming in, I think. We'll confirm that for you just momentarily, but Jared Evans has gone off. Yeah, Tovey is in, so that change has happened. The mercurial, enigmatic Jared Evans is off. 38 points to 27. Here come Munster with Hanrahan. Sweetenham tries to give Matthew Morgan the slip. And the hits keep coming.
That was 2 tree trunks clashing against each other, man.
Irresistible force and immovable object.
There was a big floater here, wasn't there? But it's the return coming back in. Sweetenham did really well. Didn't need to buy himself and his team time.
Blue down, red down. time off.
But this, you could see Klein coming from a good mile out, and see this set-up tackle?
Yeah.
Sam Moore clashing with his fellow opposite.
Nick McCarthy in for Craig Casey, by the way, at scrum half, so
it's hard to kind of discern a kind of a pattern. I think it's kind of like next score wins referee, and let's just keep playing on and not get bogged down in a process of patterns, etc. But it seems either side could score at any stage. I think he's a big unit, isn't he, Sam Moore?
yeah. Playing for top spot in the conference, remember. Cardiff coming in on 9 points. Top of the conference and hoping to extend their advantage. He's going to have to go off here.
So we wait for the subs and then we play the scrum.
Last time they were at Thomond Park, these two sides had finished Munster 39, Cardiff Blues 16. JJ Hanrahan scored 2 tries that night.
Okay, boys, come here, come here.
So it's ball change here. Christian Dacey's going to have to slot in somewhere.
Faces. Yeah, same standard. Space, stability, okay?
So he adds his
Andrea, push the 10 back from Cardiff there, please.
KGs to the flank as they pack down on their own ball here.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Steady!
Jamie Hill. Lawrence off for a HIA, by the way. Hill again.
Away 19! 8!
Cardiff need to score pretty quickly. Oh, difficult one. And frustration from Morgan, who knocks it on. Not the best delivery. He'll be disappointed with that, though.
Just have a word with 18 Blue losing his feet at the last scrum.
Clock is against them now after a really, really good effort. That Willis Hollow try in response to Jack O'Donoghue's, and then the concession of that try to JJ Hanrahan.
Let's go. Yeah, thanks.
Like where we were standing watching that try evolve, like my eyes are sucked into the trap that the Munster or the Cardiff line-up was creating, and out of nowhere he pops up and he's just impossible to stop, isn't he? Super score from the Cardiff midfield.
Crouch!
One each for the midfield combination of Ray Lilo and Willis Hollow tonight.
Steady!
Two front rows are down, but away comes Gavin Coombs, who got Munster into this position in the first half with those 2 tries. Dialende had to stoop
Here it is!
to get that. Not held, so he's okay. Back to his feet and play that. McCarthy. 75th minute. He's just fumbled on the floor there.
Cross forward. Crouch. Bind. Set. Steady.
It's over 3 years since Cardiff won in Ireland. Are they going to be disappointed again? The last time they won over here was in Galway against Connacht in September of 2017. And as it stands at the moment, unless there's a massive turnaround pretty quickly, they're going to come out on the wrong side of a real thriller this evening. It's been absolutely great. Second half in particular, John Mulvihill was right. Munster score a lot of points in the second half of games, and his side have kept with them for the lion's share of it.
Both of you stay straight, okay?
We talked a lot about their defence tonight, and although that try line has been breached, they came into round 3 having made 373 tackles, and with a tackle completion rate of almost 92%. That's pretty good going. Is there time for Matthew Morgan and co to manufacture, to conjure something to get themselves back into this for the final few minutes? Still on their own 22. Dacey, great to see him back fit and playing well. Oh, there was a possible pick off of an intercept there from Dialende. Cardiff now on the counter-attack. Summerhill did well to make sure he wasn't bundled into touch. Hill now lines up his forwards, still grafting and still going. Through the hands they go of Tovey. Still not up to halfway. They changed the tactic. That's a little bit of an aimless kick, asking too much really. Calvin Nash read it well. Hanrahan again, and still they want to throw it around. Scannell. Job done now for Munster, you feel. Cardiff player told to get his hands away. Reece Marshall. 78 minutes, 38 points to 27. 8 tries in the game, 5-3 in Munster's favour. Up it goes from McCarthy. Morgan, he's been really, really good under the high ball tonight.
What is his sub-scrum half that illegally blocked, I'd suggest?
It was a, yeah. Here he is again. Taken on by Ben Murphy. And that's it. That will see Munster over the finish line if they weren't there already. The Munster penalty in Cardiff territory. And then across comes JJ Hanrahan, and they will pop this down into the Cardiff 22. They will run down the clock and they will see out the game, and they will go top of the conference and end Cardiff's winning start to the season. And Liam Toland, who's your Guinness player of the match tonight?
Well, both Cardiff's midfield start, but it was the Munster back row that were the difference, with Jack O'Donoghue's athleticism, line out, breakdown and work ethic, not to mention his try, that makes him tonight's Guinness player of the match.
Stay there, Blue.
Another big shift from the man in the Munster number 6 jersey.
Move! That's yours. Move back.
So McCarthy waits. Is there any more forward momentum? Here they go with Scannell.
No, off feet, Blue. Off feet, Blue. Off feet.
No turnover. McCarthy able to dig it out there for Munster. It's been a fascinating contest. A breakdown time now. McCarthy, can he get his pass away? Coombs was in for his hat-trick there. I think it was Christian Dacey, yeah. He made the tackle.
Knock on. There is time for the scrum.
Like, Coombs has been very, very good in heavy traffic, particularly after the base of scrum. For me, Jack O'Donoghue's general overall play, he's just been at the coalface at every possible part of the game. But this would have been a lovely end to a great performance from the Munster number 8, but unfortunately not to be.
Okay.
It's going to be 3 wins out of 3, and they had to work really hard for the opening 2 wins, the one in Clonethley in particular, and again the one in Edinburgh wasn't secured until that CJ Standard try and the conversion from Ben Healy right at the very end of the game. This one arguably has been the best performance of the season. I think you can say that fairly comfortably. Interesting to hear what Johan van Graan makes of it.
But I assume they're going to go for a bonus point, so they're looking for a try, aren't they, Cardiff, even at this late stage?
Yeah. And it's well within their compass to do something enigmatic from this far down the pitch. Ulster up at home next for the Cardiff Blues, and then Edinburgh away.
Crouch.
Have had their troubles on the road. That win against Zebra, their first away win in 2020.
Stay straight, stay straight.
Missing their Welsh stars, as indeed Ireland. Munster are their Irish stars, but Morgan.
Forward.
Yeah, that's gone forward.
The forward pass.
Well, it's been a valiant effort from the Cardiff Blues tonight. They opened the scoring inside the opening 2.5 minutes with a really well taken try from Ray Lilo, but back came Munster to seize the advantage. Cardiff stayed in the game and were well and truly in it at half time. But what a second half we've had here this Monday night at Thomond Park in Limerick. Credit to both sides for a great exhibition of Pro14 rugby, and a scintillating try from JJ Hanrahan converted ultimately the difference between the two sides. It had to end for one of these two teams in terms of their winning start, and it's Munster who take full advantage of home advantage to make it 3 wins out of 3, and they go top of the conference. Great effort from the Cardiff Blues tonight, some brilliant tries, huge defensive shift, but in an 8-try bonanza of 60 points plus, the points stay at home with Munster. Final score 38 points to 27. Really good game. We'll hear very shortly from the Guinness Player of the Match, Jack O'Donoghue. But so much to talk about, so much to admire, Liam, and just more of the same would be great. But ultimately, over the course of the 80 minutes plus, do you think Munster deserved it?
I think so. I would say there's a lot of takeaways for this. I thought that certainly in the first 30 minutes, Munster set up to attack across the 70 metres, and not just by simply passing it through the back line. They had forwards popping up in different places, which asked bigger questions. Getting the likes of Coombs on the ball, Hodnett on the ball. But for a long time, I haven't seen so many forwards, Munster forwards, running hard onto the ball and asking questions. And then Casey was able to pivot left or right. He had his out half on one side, and he had maybe Scannell at 12 or Haley at 15 on the blind side. So they're asking way more questions across the 70 metres. The closer they got to the try line, the more narrow they became and the more forward orientated they became. But if you're coaching Cardiff, like, they have so many, like, they can do everything they simply want to do. But when they have to control their own emotions or control their kind of excitement, they're simply not doing so. So it was a brilliant game of rugby on a Monday night. Absolutely enjoyed every moment of it.
And you're talking about a Cardiff side missing so many key players, particularly in that forward pack, and it is usually they that lay the platform. But thankfully tonight we've seen so much from both these backlines, and both back rows were excellent. Really big performances tonight from James Botham and Ollie Robinson, the open side of number 8 for the Cardiff Blues. Good shift from John Hodnett, and as we said, those 2 wonderful tries from Gavin Coombs. Really great effort from him.
On the flip side then, James Botham I thought was brilliant at 7, wasn't he? And the two Cardiff midfielders was just quality. And what a joy to watch Jared Evans at 10 as well. 1 minute brilliant, the next minute the opposite of brilliant.
Yeah, fluctuating between brilliance and frustration at times, and as you say, Hollow and Ray Lilo, always so lively and so dangerous. Really good start to the season though from Munster, with those 3 wins, 2 very tight games, and now a little bit of breathing space in the end. Ultimately, we spoke about a string of really good performances from back rowers from both sides tonight, but Billy Holland now standing by to present the award to tonight's player of the man of the match, who is Jack O'Donoghue.
I probably will drop it.
Jack, congratulations, you're tonight's Guinness Player of the Match, and we've Billy Holland on hand to present you with your medal.
Cheers, thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
Gentlemen, Billy. Jack, congratulations. A very open game of rugby, one for the neutrals certainly, but physical, relentless, one a back row forward I'm sure would enjoy playing.
Yeah, I think it was a great entertaining game for a Monday night for the crowd back home watching. Yeah, I thought we played some good rugby in patches. I think we probably have a few work-ons in terms of letting them back into the game a bit easily. But all round, yeah, happy with the result. You know, getting a bonus point to win at home is always great. And, you know, Cardiff were unbeaten as well coming into this, so it was a right top of the table clash.
That was right. Munster involved with the first 4 tries, ball under, tucked under the jersey and just mauling over.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say, they were the tries at the end, but I think the play we had outfield and stuff was something that we've been working on a lot in the last 2 weeks with no games, and I think it's starting to show now, and it's certainly something we're going to build going on forward. You know, Sunday I think we're up against Dragons again, so it's coming in quick concession, so yeah, that's the next task.
Monday, Sunday turnaround as well, would that be difficult, a shorter turnaround than you'd be used to?
Look, it's no different than if having a Friday night game and rolling on from there. But certainly, will there be some sore bodies? But I think we'll recover tomorrow, and then we'll get straight back into it then on Wednesday. Not quite sure what day of the week it is.
Exactly, yeah. Good start for Monday night rugby. As you say, good start for Munster to the season. Top of the conference now as well. Overall, Munster rugby in a good place.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can see the work we've been doing on since coming back from the time off with COVID, and certainly it took a few games to click. The first 2, you know, we dug deep near the end, but certainly today we played some good brand of rugby.
Well done tonight, Jack.
Cheers, thanks very much. Thanks a minute.